On the Road to Bett with Russell Prue.
Hello and welcome to this episode 2 in our series of On the Road to Bett with me, Russell Prue. Coming up in this month's episode, we're catching up with the fabulous Louisa Hunter. It's going to tell us a couple of new things that are going on at Bett and how you can get involved. We've also got Mr. P, that's Lee Parkinson. He's catching up with us. He's a keynote speaker this year on the show floor. You're going to be really excited with that chat. Also coming up in this episode, we're catching up with the brilliant Katy Potts, who is leading and has been a founding leader of Kids Judge Bett. There's a deadline there and details of how to put your group of children forward to be a part of this exciting program. Just amazing to catch up with her. Of course, Katy is digital lead for Islington schools and families. And then last but not least, I'm catching up with the brilliant Dave Smith, who is from BESA, British Education Suppliers Association, with some great ideas and top tips for those visiting Bett. Sadly, the lovely Maria is unable to join us this month. She'll be back very, very soon, and we'd love to hear from you on the podcast team. If you'd like to email us, radio@bettshow.com. Give you some more details of why you might want to get in contact with us on that to share some ideas and get yourselves on the program. You can also text me or WhatsApp me on my number 078 600 26 400. Love to hear from you, and perhaps we could have a conversation if you've got any ideas or follow-up questions about anything we are discussing in this month's show. Let's get on with our first guest. I'm back with you shortly.
This is Bett Radio.
Listener viewers, joining me again for another catch-up on episode 2 is the amazing Louisa Hunter, who is the Bett Show Director. Louisa, welcome to episode 2. How's it going?
Oh, thank you, Russell. I'm very happy to be here for episode 2. It's going incredibly well. We are gearing up for a bigger, better Bett. We have had a record-breaking number of registrations from educators and education decision makers, which is just super exciting. We at Bett are on a mission to really change the game for educators worldwide. So that's by basically equipping education institutions and governments with the knowledge and the tools that they need to be more effective buyers of technology, but then also users of technology. And the fact that we've got so many registrations coming through from educators and education decision makers, I think is just such an exciting signal of the kind of the momentum in that mission to really change the game so that we can ultimately make things better for everyone. It's going to be it's going to be an incredible time.
I'm thrilled. I knew it would be. You've grabbed the bull by the horns, so to speak, and you are directioning it, if that were a proper word, in a superb direction for me. I think it is big. It's big, it's fabulous, but you've got lots of interesting skills. The table talks, I just wanted a mention with those, an opportunity for educators to get together and talk amongst themselves on a topic that they're interested in. An amazing scheme. How's that going?
Oh God, it's the response to that program has been phenomenal. So, people come to Bett from all over the world to discover amazing new products and solutions, but also to talk to each other about how they can sort of solve problems and learn from each other. And what is so neat about Table Talks is it recognizes the sort of the power of the educator conversation. So when educators get together with other educators to talk about their problems, whether it's a workload issue or whether it's how they kind of empower their teaching staff to make changes, or whether it's just to spitball on their concerns or excitement about the opportunities of AI in their education setting. The things that happen when they talk to each other are really, really exciting. So we've got an entire program that is dedicated to peer learning called Table Talks. And those Table Talks will be happening at lunchtime on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and also over breakfast on Thursday. You need to get involved and register before the beginning of December if you want to be involved in that incredible new program. But yeah, like I said, the response has been very, very positive, and we're really excited about what happens in that room at
Oh, I'm
Bett.
thrilled, absolutely thrilled. And listener viewers, that is the overarching message, I think, is you need to register as quickly as possible to take full advantage of all these and other brilliant, innovative, free opportunities there whilst you're at the show. They will only be available for people who've registered early because they're just not possible to organise. Now, Louisa, I know you want to talk about something else. You're asking for folks to get in contact with us. What's all that about?
Well, we really want to hear from as many people as possible, and we've had such a wonderful time over the last year talking to educators in all far-reaching corners of the world about their experiences of Bett and what's happened as a result of coming to Bett. But more importantly, why they joined the teaching profession and what it is that they're hoping to achieve in the classroom. I think 9 out of 10 teachers say that they were attracted to the profession to make a difference to the lives of pupils, which makes total sense. But we want to know more. We want to know a little bit more about what are those things that the educator community are doing to really make a difference and make a change. So please get in touch with us at radio@bettshow.com. If you've got a lovely story to tell, you can also check out some of the stories that we've already managed to publish on bettshow.com, our website. You'll see a really wonderful story from Bethan, who is an educator from a small Welsh community who has got so much incredible advice for us and for all of the attendees at Bett. And if you don't have a story that you want to tell us, then perhaps you could just tell us, what is that one thing that you would change? If you could change anything in education to make it better, what is the thing that you would change? We'd love to hear from you.
Good. And that website address is radio@bettshow.com. And hopefully we could find some really interesting folk in there who'd want to come on our show and perhaps talk about those before we get to Bett. And of course, at Bett. It'd be lovely to hear from them as well. Well, this sounds absolutely thrilling, Louisa. I'm absolutely delighted to hear about that. Is there any other news you can share with me at the moment? Is there a sneaky little private release of a keynote speaker at all? And I press you on any of those?
Well, the agenda will launch later this month, and you'll be able to see all of our exciting keynotes, all of our amazing CPD content. I will say that there's a real range of speakers on the topic of AI, which is the thing that everybody sort of wants to hear about, needs to hear about, scared to hear about, excited to hear about. And that those speakers are really ranging from those who are kind of impacting policy to those who are talking about the kind of the practical applications of AI. And we're going to try and steer away from too much kind of scaremongering and big news on the topic. But people like Dan Fitzpatrick, who was one of the most popular sessions at Bett 2023, will be back on a bigger scale. The amazing Professor Rose Luckin will be talking to us, and we even have Andreas Schleicher from the OECD with us. Also, Mr. P, who I think you might have had a conversation with as well, Russell. He'll be chatting about what AI means in the classroom, and then the other important initiative from a content perspective that I'd love to mention is Kids Judge Bett, which is run by the amazing Katy Potts. And I think applications to participate in Kids Judge Bett are soon to close. So if you want to get involved, let us know. That is a wonderful initiative that happens at Bett every year.
Brilliant. And it just so happens, by pure chance, of course, you'd think we'd thrown this show together. Both of those guests are coming up in this podcast later on, so do stay with us. Louisa, it's amazing to catch up with you. Thank you so much. We'll do it again next month, and I look forward to hearing anything else you can share with us then. Until then, folks, don't forget to head over to uk.bettshow.com and get yourself registered as quickly as you can. Louisa, thanks for joining us. Great conversation there with Louisa Hunter, the Bett Show Director for Bett 2024. My goodness, nearly caught me out there. Well, some significant milestones have been passed since we last met. I am 1 year older, and I wanted to share with you my birthday cake decoration. A big thank you to Lisa and Mr. Goose, who are cake decorators to the stars for this inspired cake topping. Of course, if you are listening to this on the podcast, this really won't mean anything to you. Do go and find a picture on the video cast or one of my still images. It's me in a studio in icing, almost super edible. Amazing. Hope you enjoyed that. I had to share that with you. It's the most gorgeous piece of sugar pastry. I think that's what we're calling it these days. It's absolutely amazing there. Well, that's my news. Let me know what your news is. Do get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you. All the contact details are on the website. You can text us and WhatsApp us on 078 600 26 400 or drop me a text on the same number or an email to radio@bettshow.com. Coming up, it's Mr. Lee Parkinson.
On the road to Bett with Russell Prue.
And my next guest is with me live, the fantabulous Mr. P ICT, aka Lee Parkinson. Nice to hear from you. You're looking good. What have you been up to?
Oh, it's been a hectic start to the academic year. I've been here, there, and everywhere. So still working part time in my school, doing training the other part of the week. We're just about to embark on the next podcast tour as well. So yeah, keeping busy. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for asking. Not as popular as you are, I have to say. I feel that we've seen most parts of your house, particularly those bedroom doors, have become incredibly popular over your pandemic podcasts and videocasts. You've kept a smile on the nation's face, and congratulations. That's not an easy task. You've made it to the Bett Arena as a keynote speaker in Bett 2024. We're all looking forward to it. Folks, don't forget you're going to need tickets for this, and you need to book early to avoid disappointment. Lee, what have you got in store for us?
Well, yeah, so over the past sort of year, a big focus of my training has been around emerging AI technology. And I've really been interested around how that tech can really support teachers, especially around reducing workload and how that can then benefit other parts of sort of the training I provide. So, you know, I've always been a massive advocate for how technology can remove barriers, can really enhance and transform the curriculum in lots of creative ways. The biggest barrier to that has always been the fact teachers don't have time and the sort of workload pressures and expectations. And I don't think I've come across anything like the AI that has had such an immediate impact on reducing that workload, which will hopefully give teachers that time to invest in more creative use of technology. So the sort of talk I'm going to do is around that, how if we utilize AI to save us time in certain areas, we can reinvest that time to sort of using technology to benefit our pupils in lots of creative ways.
Well, we look forward to that, but I hear lots of people are very scared. They're worried. Is that just a fear of the unknown? Or do we really need to be quite scared about AI?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a little bit of apprehension, and you know, if you read certain news articles, they try and scare and say it's going to be I actually had someone on my training recently when I was talking about it saying, I'm not going to use any of that AI stuff. I don't want the robots to come and kill us all. And it's like, listen, Terminator is not based on a historical fact. It's more, look, AI is not going to be the downfall of humanity. How we choose to use it might, and it's like with any emerging bit of technology, there's obviously lots of positive, there's lots of potential negatives, and we've got to focus on what's the best way in which we can utilize it. And I think for us as educators in a system which is overworking teachers, you know, so much of our time isn't spent on the most important aspect of our job, which is the teaching and learning. It's more sort of the paperwork in trying to prove that we're doing the job. The vast majority of us are capable of doing. Having a tool like AI, which can do some of the heavy lifting, isn't going to be the solution to all of these problems, but can certainly give us a helping hand. I can only see it being a massive benefit.
Now, you've managed to accumulate a vast resource on a range of subjects. I remember some of your early videos, and now it's all become really quite serious and really, really good. How can folks get hold of this material from you, and where are your subscription services? And tell me where we need to go now, Lee.
Yeah, so you can follow me on all the socials at ICT_Mr. P on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, yeah, all of them. I'm here, there, and everywhere. Obviously, my website, mrpict.com, has over 1,000 bite-sized CPD videos to help teachers make more out of technology. The AI platform that I've been involved in building is teachmateai.com. And obviously, if you do want a bit of a giggle, you can listen along to the podcast at 2mrpspodcast.com.
And it is a great giggle. Amazing. And that has been a great success. Had you always planned to do that?
Well, no, it was sort of just born out of a family holiday that we went on, and we were sort of sat around the pool one evening. So my brother, being a HLTA in a school, was sort of sharing funny stories about everything, that all the crazy things that happen in school. And I listen to a lot of podcasts with all the traveling that I do. So I thought, why not sit down, share a couple of these stories? And yeah, we started that in 2018, and 5 years later, we're just about to embark on our second nationwide tour over the October half term. So that's going to be really exciting. Really looking forward to that. And yeah, it's just down to the wonderful sort of community we've built up through that, and the support we've had from teachers, school staff who have, not just supported but shared some of the most hilarious anecdotes and stories that we've been able to share. And yeah, so really, just a really sort of proud of what we've built, but really thankful and grateful for everyone's support.
And there was a great opportunity. There was a space, wasn't there, during the pandemic when lots of things shut down and there was very little direction. People just weren't sure with what to do. And you filled that space rather well, and you've kept that going, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I remember that day where the lockdown first got announced, because I was down in, I think it was Maidstone, doing a training course, and then it was like, right, the schools are closing tomorrow, and between that journey back from Maidstone to Manchester, 6 months of work, of training, just all got cancelled. And so there's a bit of worry in that first few weeks, but soon as we started to adapt to the sort of online stuff and teachers using Zoom, I was able to adapt some of the training. But also with schools staying open, teachers working in sort of isolated bubbles, I think the podcast really helped a lot of teachers feel part of that sort of virtual staff room, so to speak. So yeah, it sort of really grew through those lockdowns, and yeah, seemed to really help a lot of teachers through that tough time.
Oh, amazing. You're looking amazingly well, younger than the last time I saw you. I mean, there's got to be some top tips. A series of top tips from you would be really good. How to look young and fabulous. We're really thrilled and very, very much looking forward to seeing you on the Bett Arena there, and very good luck with that. And folks, if you don't want to miss that, make sure you register early for Bett and you get your tickets to see this fabulous gentleman. Lee, thanks very much for joining us, and good luck with everything, and we'll see you at Bett.
All right, take care. Cheers.
This is Bett Radio.
Always great to catch up with the brilliant Lee Parkinson, who's Mr. P, and his fabulous podcast. Lovely to see how well he is. Again, if you want to get in contact with him, we'd love to hear from you. Just drop me a WhatsApp message, 078 26 400. Love to hear from you. Still to come on today's show, we've got a great conversation with Dave Smith. I'm catching up with Katy, and she is up next.
Contact the show right now. Just send a text message to 078 26 400.
Listener viewers, I'm thrilled with my next guest, the fabulous Katy Potts, who is digital lead for Islington schools and families. She has been there right from the start on the Kids Judge Bett program. Katy, thanks so much for joining us. How have you been?
Oh yeah, no, it's a sunny Monday in North London. I'm working in schools on everything digital for children and families. And yes, it's all good here as ever. We're all busy, but looking forward to another Bett show and another Kids Judge Bett. So thank you for hosting us.
Lovely to have you again. And it's a marvellous scheme. We love it. It puts children right at the forefront, right at the centre of the Bett offering. And I've loved it. I've been involved right from the start. I love it. But just tell folks who don't know what it is all about it, please.
Well, I think many schools put pupil voice at the centre of curriculum design, and Islington schools have done that for many, many years. And our leaders, our school leaders, would gather at the show, particularly when it was on a Saturday, actually, and we would invite families and children to spend the day with the teachers and myself and my family, just to have some space to hear the children's thoughts, an opportunity to see new resources. and to feed in really some trials that could be taking place in the months following Bett. And as those days were kind of first and foremost informal and fun, but definitely recording what the children were saying, but really became apparent quite quickly what the children were choosing really had high impact. It was to take seriously. They're really smart cookies. They know what the school needs, and they know what their friends need and what they need. And so it has genuinely become a central part of procurement and curriculum design. So that was way back. I mean, that was pre-2014. Kind of informally, we would meet on the Saturday show, and then around 2014. I joined with, David Smith and I were both Bett Award judges, and we said, look, let's try and make something more of this, and particularly for this when it was on the Saturday. And so Kids Judge Bett was first born with a small group. I think there was only about 20 children on stage when it first started.
Amazing. And now it's on Fridays, and it takes up the stage, and it's really thrilling. And the young people tour around. They've got a tour guide, and they look and they ask deep and searching questions, often questions that educators forget to ask of the supplier, like, what is this going to do for me and my opportunities in school? I love it. Now, there is a deadline involved, and there are interviews to take place. Talk me through that. How do folks get involved?
They will. I will go through the process in a minute. One thing I meant to mention actually in, how it evolved, just the genuine quality of the educators who are part of the suppliers team. Often the stands have ex-teachers or educationally associated people who have helped develop products, and so the interactions are really high quality on the Bett show floor, and I hadn't quite appreciated that when I first started bringing children, and so it's not just about testing resources and feeding into the procurement and the curriculum design, but it's also to make use of this incredible education show and to have an opportunity to interact for children, to interact with the suppliers, because they really appreciate the children coming to the show. And I think they really put so much effort into often the activities. So sorry, I didn't mean to mention the suppliers.
No,
because they are
you've done very well.
Yeah,
they're a key part.
How can people apply? If you jump onto the Bett show website, there is a new article around Kids Judge Bett. And the easiest way to find it is just to Google Kids Judge Bett. And you will find the article on the latest for Bett 2024 application process. So we've got until the 6th of November to apply. The day, actually, we've taken efforts to really describe the day, because it's quite a full-on day. We meet really sharply at 9:30 and we don't finish till 4:30. It really involved, we need the teachers to be facilitating and supporting the children, noting down what they say. It's a little bit like Ready, Steady, Cook. I would say, you're under time pressure. You've got to decide as a team the finalists and then the winners, and then you have to write a little assembly almost for when you join the most wonderful Michael Rosen on the stage when you present the awards. So the children will actually be presenting with Michael Rosen, but they'll be writing their own script as well around why they've chosen the product and the categories, and I'll come on to categories in a minute. So please, if you're interested, please read the article, because it's really important you understand just what is involved. And for schools outside, we'd love to have schools outside of London. We've had lots of schools from around the country, from Dorset and from Cornwall and from the Lake District, etc. But you do have to be at the show for 9:30, and that means travelling in from central London. You need to be setting off by about 8:30, which means that a lot of schools plan this way ahead and often fundraise to get a hotel or sponsorship for a hotel the night before if you are coming out of London. We actually had a school from Hong Kong last year join us as well, which was really wonderful too. They happened to be at the show. So yeah, do take time to read the application, because it's not as simple as drop your children off at 10 o'clock and pick them back up at 12. It's quite a long day. What else? There was something else that I wanted to... Oh, categories. Now, categories are important, This is Kids Judge Bett, and it is grassroots. So we don't want to predefine it because we don't know every year what is at the show. Another way of joining the event is actually, if you're at the show on the Wednesday, Thursday, and I really encourage schools to attend whenever you can, be it the Wednesday, Thursday or Friday. If you're there on the Wednesday and Thursday, then you can contribute also by feeding back to me, and I will be working at the show, diligently recording. I'm going to be interviewing schools at the show about what they've seen, what they'd like shortlisted, what kind of categories that they'd like, because the categories evolve every year. And for example, last year, the feedback had been that schools, children really wanted to have sustainability as a theme. So the categories evolve, and it's very much led by children. And actually it can develop over the Wednesday and Thursday of the show, because children and schools attending those days can also feedback. And that's a really important aspect as well. Very, very inclusive aspect. It's not just about being on the stage with Michael Rose, and we'd love to hear from you. But it is about the show. It's not about the technology or, the educational resources that you use at school. It is actually about the show. So it has to be the product, or the resource has to be at the show.
No, absolutely appreciate that. That's beautifully explained, Katy. Absolutely fantastic. And it's a thrilling, there's a lovely awards program. It's on the main Bett Arena stage. As you said, Michael Rosen is there, and lots of exhibitors just wait to hear these kind of results. It's not just we voted this the best. There is feedback, isn't there? Real evidential feedback from the young people about why they think that's the best at Bett, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we do a briefing. So, I'm a Bett Award judge. I'm really conscientious. I'm a classroom teacher. I do take this in terms of transparency. I take this so seriously as an organiser. I work with the BESA and a team of really skilled judges, and I every year, because we're starting the process of the Bett Awards at the moment, and every year I really take time to consider protocols, so children have strict protocols. They can't receive gifts, and they're not to, have any kind of relationship, with any of the products either. So that's a really important part of the process. And I do want, the community, to know just how diligent and conscientious we are around that process as well.
Brilliant. Well, it's fantastic. I love it because we get a chance to speak to some of the schools, some of the children as well, whilst they're on their tour, and we get to interview them for our Bett radio shows. It's absolutely fantastic. All the details on the Bett Show website, folks, or you can simply Google Kids Judge Bett. Find Katy's name, find the application form, and get that application in. And of course, if you want to see all of this happening, you need to be at the show, folks. So register as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, this event is completely about the show, which is wonderful. If I was a classroom teacher, I would be inviting families, bringing down children to the show. The quality of the educational activity that takes place there, as I said at the introduction of this interview, really don't underestimate just how committed and how much expertise the suppliers have. Many of them are ex-teachers. But I've just noticed it's 6 minutes past 1. I've got to get back to a school. I've got to get back on my cycle.
Katy, thank you and thank you for cycling for the interview. Yay. It's really good. You're amazing. See you at Bett, and thanks very much. Keep in touch, and bless you. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
On the road to Bett with Russell Prue.
Oh, I really enjoyed that conversation. And as a past Kids Judge Bett winner, it is an amazing opportunity. If you're an exhibitor and you get approached and you'd like to participate in that, do get in contact with Katy, please. It's an amazing experience having a procession of young people on your stand asking those really interesting questions. And if you want to find out more about what I'm doing on the Bett show floor, then do get in contact with me. I shall have a live radio studio right next to the speakers lounge, which is not too far from the main auditorium on that main show floor. You can come and have a look at some equipment. If you want to discuss anything to do with school radio, come and have a conversation with me, and I'll be broadcasting there live each day from 2:00 with the brilliant Maria Canida, who will be presenting a live show there. You can actually watch us and listen to us every day from 2:00 on the Bett show floor. Do get in contact with me. I'd love to hear from you. Listener viewers, it's great to catch up with a great friend, Dave Smith, who's head of partnerships and events at BESA. Dave, how are you?
Oh, Russell, always a pleasure to catch up with you, sir. I'm absolutely fantastic. And everything at the British Educational Suppliers Association, BESA, it's really top notch at the moment.
I'm really good. You're traveling the world doing marvelous things for our British education suppliers. You're a great mouthpiece. You are a great supporter. What are you looking forward to most at Bett 2024?
Oh, I have to say, Russell, actually, some of the things that are coming up at Bett UK, building on the years of experience and events that have happened there. So really looking forward to the fact that we've got Bett Global Futures, which is a startup area, which something that we at BESA support. So delegates can come along and folks can sign up to be part of that, to share their wares. And it's a really brilliant place to go to find out about what's new in the EdTech world. And this year, it's blended in with the global elements to make it even more international. So that's really great. And we're going to be getting some opportunities for people to be able to pitch their ideas to the sector. So I do encourage both startup exhibitors themselves and also delegates to get inside the area and find out what's going on in the world of EdTech, because that's what Bett's all about, isn't it?
It is good. And what I like the most, there are a lot of things I like about you, Dave, but what I like the most is that before you were a BESA representative, you came along as a local authority member and as an educator. And so you've almost got a fantastic purview of the whole landscape there. How have things changed for you?
Well, I think the one thing I really do enjoy about BESA is the fact that we're actually working on the side of the suppliers, whereas before in my previous role, suppliers were engaging with the schools with which I was working. Now, in this role, it's actually working alongside the suppliers to find out what they've got coming up, what products and services they're working on, and how very much they can engage with the school sector. So for me, I think it's sort of a really positive transition into this role that I'm working on now at BESA.
Amazing. And you've been going to Bett for between us for many, many years. What are the most significant changes, do you think, over the time you've seen?
Oh, I think, Russell, I think it's the way in which the exhibitors are connecting with the sector. Once upon a time, you get people coming along to Bett, they'd have their map, they'd have their companies they'd want to visit. I think now with elements like Connect at Bett, you've got that opportunity to engage in advance, set up meetings, meet with the exhibitors. And this time around, the enhancement this year is to meet with them on their stands. You can meet with them with their products and talk to them. And I think that's really lovely. So the smaller companies, the larger companies, doesn't matter what it is, you can go and see them. So one of the things I used to advise was make sure you'd mapped out where you wanted to go, try and contact people in advance. Well, I tell you what, one of the things that Bett has done, it's doing a lot of that work for people who are attending. So it's good on both sides. So those people who are looking for products and services and those people who are selling the products and services and promoting those. So I think that's been a big change for that I've seen over the years. So one in particular, and I think just the range of CPD, the professional development piece, very, very important to school leaders to be looking out there to think about, where do I find that support and advice? Who do I go to speak to? Well, Bett's put a lot of that in. So not just, again, from the UK, but also internationally. So we're getting a good global idea of the EdTech picture beyond our homeland, so to speak.
Brilliant. Anything particular you're looking forward to this year, 2024?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the table talks that have been set up. And I think that's the teacher in me coming out. That some years ago, you and I were involved in something at Bett where we had these table talks where people came along and they shared their products and services and they talked about it. Well, actually, this year at Bett, in 2024, we're going to see something like that with the table talks, where there'll be a range of topics for you to be able to choose from. And it's a sort of educator-only, peer-to-peer event where you sign up for your session, you go along, you join a group of peers from the education sector, and you have a discussion, and you have a focus, as I've said. So for me, Bett is about the products and services that are within the show, but it's also the community coming together to share their practice and ideas. So very much, Bett is a hub for EdTech.
No, amazing. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Top tips. I'm interested in your visitors' top tips. What would you have to share so things that, over the years you remember? I mean, comfy shoes. That's an obvious one. I'm looking for something a little bit more than that. Don't wear or try anything new for the very first time has always been my tip. So don't wear anything or walk in anything that's new on this occasion. It's just too much. Any other particular top tips you might have for visitors?
Yeah, apart from that bottle of water and go find out where the best barista is on the stand, and I think you can probably find a number of those, and from BESA members as well. But I would get yourself along and come to speak to us at the BESA stand. So if you're not too sure about what to look for in the show, we at BESA, we're the information hub point. Do that. Please come and see us. Come and find out, and we can help signpost you to where the exhibitors are within the show. And that's many of those are members of the British Education Suppliers Association. So, yeah, look forward to seeing you with that. And like you say, comfortable shoes always important, and a comfortable bag to carry home, whatever you're going to take. But there's less and less of that these days because there's a lot more electronic literature than there ever used to be. Once upon a time, they used to say, you know what, you could have probably taken a personal shopper with you to Bett and a trolley too. But I think we see less of that these days. But yeah, just come along and say hello, engage with us, come speak to us, and look forward to seeing you there.
That's good. That is good. And there's an element of planning to get the very most out of your visit. People are worried about the show becoming so big and almost too big to get round. I think it's been too big to get round for some years, and some element of planning is required to make the very most of your experience there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think you've got to come with an objective in mind, haven't you? This is part of your wider digital strategy. This is part of supporting that. So if you're thinking about what you need in your school, your multi-academy trust, your local authority, wherever you are in the country or beyond, what is it that you're actually trying to achieve? What's the issue you're trying to address, and how can EdTech help that? Go and have a look on the Bett website. Have a little look and see what's available, who's there, and as I said, connect up with some folks before coming along. Get yourself a pathway, and no doubt from the previous years there will be Bett pathways for you to be able to visit. And as I said, I would say it, wouldn't I? But BESA will be providing support and guidance for people to signpost them to where you can go and find people anyway.
It's good to hear, Dave. Thank you very much. I'm sure that our listener viewers will be delighted to pop in at your stand. I'm very grateful for your time today. I know you have squeezed us in. You've been traveling the world, and you've squeezed us into your very busy schedule today, and I'm very grateful. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, and may I wish you a very exciting Bett 2024.
Always got time for you, Russell, and always got time for Bett UK. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, and look forward to seeing everybody there.
This is Bett Radio.
Well, that really is all we've got time for on this episode. Doesn't it go quickly, folks? Thanks so much indeed. It is a really exciting event. If you've not registered, do get your registrations in as quickly as possible. uk.bettshow.com. And we'd love to hear from you. Our WhatsApp number is 078 26 400. Love to hear from you. Drop us an email if you've got any of those suggestions, or if you want to get onto the podcast, perhaps with an interview, a discussion, or you want to chat about any of the things that we've discussed in today's show. Particularly, you've got a story you want to share with our audience about how IT or inspirational use of technology has transformed your classroom practice. We'd love to hear from you, so do get in contact. radio@bettshow.com. Until next month, I've been Russell Prue. I hope you've enjoyed me on the road to Bett, and we'll catch you in November. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Baby, you can drive my car. Yes, I'm gonna be a star. Shut up and drive.
On the road to Bett.
I'm on the road again.
With Russell Prue.